Welcome everyone to Gamer Melt. Today is Black Friday, and with it comes some pretty incredible deals, and I thought I'd go over some of my favorite PC hardware deals, which is why I wanted to do a talking head video, just to get them out there as quickly as I could. With that said, there are some other really big stories, starting with new malware in your software, an update on the RX 7900 XTX and 7900 XT, and AMD just confirmed specs for the RX 7800 XT. Okay, it's news time, and first up for today, like I said, it is Black Friday, which means some of the best deals of the year. So, like I said, I thought I'd go over some of my favorite, and if you're interested in any of these, I will have affiliate links down in the description below. It doesn't cost you anything more, and it helps the channel out. Either way, let's get right to it. And as you can see right here, AMD's Ryzen 7 5800X, their 8-core 16-thread CPU, is a whopping 45% off. Now, I know that AMD's Ryzen 7000 series is already out, but if you already have an AM4 board and you have one of their older generation of CPUs for an 8-core 16-thread beast for just $248, that's a really good deal. And of course, if you are interested in AMD's Ryzen 7000 series of CPUs, pretty much the entire series has gone on sale for Black Friday. Earlier when I originally discussed this, I had said that I really hope that these end up being the new prices, but unfortunately AMD did seem to clarify that this is for Black Friday. Now, maybe later on they will keep these prices the same, but at least for now, that is going to be the case. Either way, as you can see here, now I will say, unfortunately, it is on back order, but if you want to try and get this and see if you can get it when it comes back in stock, as of right now, it is $574 for the Ryzen 9 7950X on Newegg, as well as $20 off when you use this promo code. Now, obviously, AM5 boards are still really expensive. There are a couple okay deals on those, but at least with this being a whopping $125, actually $145 off when you use that code, it definitely makes that AM5 board a much easier pill to swallow. With that said, if you're more interested in Intel, some of their 13000 series CPUs are on sale, like their 13700K, which you'll see it's only $10 off right here, but then there's another $20 off with this promo code. Not amazing, but not that bad either, given how good the 13000 series is. And next up, with the further lowering of prices that have been happening with SSDs, you can actually purchase one of Samsung's 980 1TB, so this is an NVMe M.2 SSD, for just $80. Definitely a really good deal. We're talking 43% off, $60 off the normal price. Then again, if you need more, there is a Samsung 980 Pro SSD 2TB. It's a whopping $200 off, bringing it down to just $179.99. Next up, to show just how much GPU prices have been lowering, we actually have the XFX 6900 XT. It's a whopping 23% off for just $669. Now, that's obviously still really expensive, so I do understand if you're not that interested in that, but remember that the 6900 XT launched for an MSRP of $1,000, so this is hundreds of dollars off. But of course, if you're not looking for something that expensive, there is actually an RX 6600 8GB GPU for just $209.99, plus you get 2 free games. Moving on, if you don't need that really expensive, though still going down in price, DDR5, Corsair is offering their 32GB Vengeance RGB Pro for just $99.99. This is memory set to 3600. If you do need DDR5 though, we have this Corsair Vengeance DDR5 5600 for 36% off, down to just $144.99. Well, I say just $144, it's still pretty expensive, obviously, compared to DDR4, but remember, this is next-gen memory tech. And lastly, we actually have a Corsair HX Series 1200, obviously with GPU prices getting incredibly high lately, you're probably going to need a more powerful PSU, and I definitely can't recommend Corsair enough. This one right here is a fully modular 80+ platinum certified 1200 watt PSU for $234.99 at $60 off. So yeah, while that does it for the Black Friday deals, there are definitely a ton more. Once again, make sure to check those out in the description below. And next up for today, we have a story from Tech Power Up that's a little bit concerning. According to them, MSI Afterburner, which as they say is probably the most popular graphics card overclocking utility, I will definitely say that I've used it in the past. I do really like it. Apparently there are, as they say right here, there's some dubious websites that are using SEO techniques and ad placement to find their way into online search results. And apparently what they're doing is they have MSI Afterburner that you can download, but at least some of them are spoofing the MSI website, and basically what you end up installing is malware. Definitely something you don't want to see. As it says here, these cybersecurity researchers identified spoof websites that are visually identical to the MSI website, but host modified versions of the Afterburner software laced with malware. Ultimately, this is just a reminder to make sure that you're getting this from an official website or places like Tech Power Up. If you want to download it there, I'm pretty sure that they offer that download. But basically, only go to places that you absolutely trust and make sure that the website, in fact, is MSI's. And next up for today, I actually have some pretty good news about AMD's RX 7900 series of GPUs. But before I get to that, I want to quickly go over some issues that some of you guys had from my last video. If you didn't see it, I basically said bad news for AMD's RX 7900 XTX. Anyway, that was essentially what the title said. Well, I actually got a bunch of comments stating that, oh, having to wait 1 to 2 weeks for AIB partner cards is not bad news. It's not a big deal. The problem is that those people that said that clearly didn't watch the entire video, because the part that I was talking about was where they mentioned that prices for the AIB cards could be much more expensive. Now, I did get a bunch of comments saying, well, yeah, AIB cards are always more expensive. Yeah, I know that. Well, for one, plenty of AIB cards are at MSRP, but of course the souped up ones are more expensive. But I took this to mean that it's more expensive than usual, hence the much more expensive. And yeah, some of you did say, hey, but Nvidia's cards are way more expensive as well. And I actually said that in that video, but when we found out just how wildly expensive some of their AIB cards were gonna be, I've discussed that in a video also. So when AMD does it, I'm also gonna say something just like I would for Nvidia. So anyway, hopefully I did at least somewhat clear that up. I considered that to be bad news. I don't want these cards to be extremely expensive. Plus, I didn't say anything like, the worst news ever, horrific. I mean, one of the top comments was trying to say that it was hyperbolic, but all I said was bad news. That's it. Moving on, I just kind of wanted to mention that really quickly, but believe it or not, that first part of the story, which was the 1 to 2 weeks, I actually do have good news now, because that apparently isn't entirely the case. According to Computer Base, it looks like they actually spoke with some board partners, and according to them, as of now, they should be ready on December 13th. Of course, them saying should is a little worrisome, though of course it's not that big of a deal anyway. Like I said, the bad news had nothing to do with this, but it is nice to hear that at least some will potentially be ready. And lastly for today, it looks like AMD themselves have confirmed specs for one of their next-gen GPUs, specifically Navi 32. If you don't know, the 7900 series is based on Navi 31, so Navi 32 should be the 7800 XT, 7800, etc. Well, according to this, apparently, in a software update for AMD's own ROCm, they actually confirmed that the core count for Navi 32 is 60. Now, if you don't know, the compute units in Navi 31 is 96. So quite a bit more than 60 in Navi 32, though of course the 7900 XT does have slightly cut down. I think it's like there's 80 something compute units. I can't remember exactly, but this is obviously quite a bit cut down from that. The actual stream processors would then be 3,840. Not only that, but they're stating that GDDR6, it comes with a 256-bit bus, 64 megabytes of infinity cache, so still a very powerful GPU. We obviously can't extrapolate too much information out of performance from this, but it is still set to be pretty powerful, with it coming with 60 compute units. And as I mentioned, they actually said it right over here that Navi 32 will likely be, it looks like, very well be launched as the 7800 desktop GPUs. So obviously the 7800 XT would be using that 60 CU core count. So while that does it for today, let me know what your favorite Black Friday deal is down in the comments below. And if you liked the video, please subscribe. And as always, have a great day.